Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to need to lift this pole up on my roof there in my patio, and so I need to make a lightweight and temporary sort of pulley. So let's make one. Now I'm going to need a few bits and pieces, a few tools and some materials of wood, some scrap bits of timber. Now you get a piece of timber of a reasonable thickness and more or less the size of the wheel that you want in your pulley. Then work out the center of that by taking, say, this distance, that distance, and then going corner to corner to find the center, roughly. Then cut that off. Then drill a hole down the middle of that, or you can just whack a nail through, but we do need a little bit of a hole so it will spin nicely in the pulley. And I'm going to put it back on there more or less and put the nail through and nail it on there so that it will spin. Then turning it over so that the nail's hanging over the edge, I'm going to cut the corners off. And then turn it and cut those little corners off too. So there we're getting something sort of circular. Now if we want it more circular, we can put it in a vise and use the saw to run on the top of that board and just trim up those little edges. If you want more precision, you can get a hacksaw and go across those little lumpy bits sideways until you reach the your guide board and turn that around and do that. And then finally you can use some sandpaper to run that around until you get it totally circular if you're that perfectionist. And now to cut the groove in there so that the rope will run in that. Take a thin piece of wood and butt it up against there, and with your saw you want to run that along there and go right round, making a little guide cut about maybe a millimeter or so deep, like that. Now you want that to do that on both sides so that you've got some guidelines here right round, so that you can now put your saw on an angle maybe 45 degrees and cut from there from both sides. If you do the angle correctly and keep it even and come from both sides, the cut should meet in the middle. Then you're going to turn it and cut a bit more using those guides as your starting point. Now to clean that up, put your saw in there and turn it sideways a little bit and just use your saw as a rasp, and then turn it the opposite direction just to get those little lumps and bumps out of it and get your curve going nicely. And if you're particular, you can use a round file and file it out a bit, and maybe some sandpaper in there if you want it really pretty. Now the next thing is the body. We're going to take a little block of wood that's a little bit slightly thicker than the pulley wheel, and also a couple pieces of board. Now if you're making a heavy duty one, you want to use it a little bit thicker than this, but my one's going to be light, so it's going to be assembly of that board, that there, with sufficient distance for the rope to pass through, and that on top, and nail those. So there we have it, nailed. They don't have to be strong nails because they're not what takes the weight. Now we're going to figure out where that's going to go. Make a mark more or less there. And with a square, I'm just going to transfer that to the other side so that we know where it is on this side. It's going to be central and central, obviously. Then I can drill a pilot hole for the nail on both sides. Put that in, and then I'm going to put a nail through. Now if you want one more robust, you can use like a bolt and feed that through. Then I'm going to take a hacksaw blade or some thin object and put it in between there as a spacer. And then with a hammer, I'm going to bend that over. If you have a bolt, you're going to bolt it, of course. Then I'm going to do a hole here for my rope to tie it up to wherever I'm going to put the pulley. The idea is that the rope that comes here transfers the weight to the pulley wheel, then to the nail, to those boards. This here is really only a spacer. It doesn't take any weight at all because the rope goes through here and supports those two side pieces and takes the weight that way. So there we have it basically. We can trim those corners off. We could put another block down the other end for more stability. Also, I would put that maybe down here a little bit more if I was carrying heavier weight and make this block a little bit thicker as a result of that. Now, here is the disclaimer and the warning. This is only a lightweight pulley, and what you choose to lift with it is your responsibility. If you want to lift heavier things, make it more robust. All responsibility is yours.